It's time for the Take a Seat podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Howell. Please take a seat. Right, good morning, everybody. This is Take a Seat TV. I'm your host, Kevin Howell, and with me today, we've got Hannes Roodt from Ultimate Pet Care. Welcome, Hannes Roodt.
Thank you, Kevin.
Right, Hannes, so you and I have been chatting. It's so exciting to talk to you. Many years ago, and it's funny, we spoke about it this morning. I met you at a video shoot, and here we are on another video shoot, just in a different context. You were an actor at that stage, and I was an actor and a business owner at that stage, and it was such a lovely morning that I still remember how excited you were to be part of it. And here we are, 6 years later, talking about your business and how you've progressed over the years. So, Hannes, without further ado, I want you to tell everybody about yourself. So just a 10-minute history of Hannes, where you come from, how you got involved in business, and how you ended up right here.
Oh, well, thanks, Kevin, for the opportunity, and thank you for hosting this. I feel honored. I sometimes don't feel like a businessman. I feel like a person who's still learning. So I'm learning from really the best. So thanks for the opportunity. I'm gonna just, first of all, before I start, and I said if I ever get the opportunity to share a testimony, I want to just share. And it's easy to share the business, and people think it's you, and yes, it is you. But I really just want to thank my team. I've got an amazing team, and I'm not going to mention names, but it's only because we've got an amazing team. And I will tell you guys later about how teamwork works. But every person that's played a role to Ultimate Pet Care success today, and then my creator is Jesus. He gave me a creative mindset, and so I'll give him the honor as well for what we are busy with and what we are still going to do. So Kevin, so just in a small rap or a 10-minute, I can talk a lot, but you must just cut me when I speak too much. But I'll just quickly brief you. I was born and raised in Kempton Park, a small town here at the airport. And I was a culture vulture in school, so I did a lot of cultural activities. I wasn't the most sportiest person, but I did a lot of culture, drama, and stuff like that. I was that typical sometimes teacher pet, but it also had its own critics. And for those people who also were the culture vultures, I mean, you deal with a lot of people mocking you and about sexuality and all of that. So that was definitely the struggle that I had when I was growing up as a young man. But it is amazing to see that you should never despise who you are, and you're a culture vulture for a reason, and you're a creative as well to start dreaming and create stuff. So in school, that is what I did. I've always been, there was always a side of entrepreneurship within me. I have a wife, I have 3 kids, I'm happily married, just to add that to it. But I'll start in the beginning. So in grade 2, I was 8 years old. I remember we had an entrepreneur day, and then that was my first big breakthrough. I sold chickens, which me and my gran, we sold these little chicks, and we actually dunked them into colors. So we sold pink and blue and purple and all these colors chickens. And I remember in grade 2, I was 8. I made 2,000 Rand, and it was a lot of money. It was like almost 20 years ago. And I remember there I was entrepreneur of the year, and it was something that I really do remember. And it was so significant to me because afterwards we sold seed for the chickens that we sold on that day. So it was like, oh wow, there was money even coming in later. And then I've always been busy. I grew up in a house where I had 2 amazing parents. They both were teachers, still teachers. My dad's a principal and my mom's a teacher. And I had 3 other brothers. I'm the oldest of 4 brothers. So life wasn't the most glamorous thing, but every need was met. So I always kept myself busy with things. I remember from grade 10, I normally sold fudge in my mom's. I made the fudge. My mom sold it in a period in school, and then that was my pocket money through most of high school. After school, I had 2 dreams. I wanted to become a vet, and I wanted to become a pilot. Not one of those dreams came to pass because there wasn't funds for me, but it was okay. My dad then recommended, Hannes, why don't you become a cabin crew member? And I was like, no, I don't want to be a cabin crew member. It's like serving tea and coffee, and no. And there was a whole stigma around cabin crew as well at that time, and I had a bit of a personal issue. So, but I went through with it. So I did a 6-week course, and fortunately enough, I got in with a great local company, and we did charter work in Africa. So I flew up and down in Africa. Yeah, and it was awesome because we did most of Africa, the African region, and you know, everything that I've done, I've always tried to be excellent in it. So when you fly for a local airline or a small airline, you always dream of what's the best. And at that time, my only reference of airlines was Emirates Airlines. So I said, well, one day I will fly for Emirates. I want to work for them. I want to see what they do. And so I remember I was 21, because you need to be 21 to apply for those interviews. And for those of you who've been at those interviews, it's quite hectic. There's like thousands that end up for the interview, and they cut you through all the day. I remember at my first interview was I was 21. It was in the year 20, I must think now, it was 2011. Well, it was earlier than that year. So then I got into the final round, they cut you. And then at the last round, I did my final interview, and then I got a rejection email. And then only a year later, you can apply again. And then the next year I applied again. I did through the whole thing. They checked me, and I got to the top 20 and I did my final interview. And I didn't make it.
Sounds like America's Got Talent.
Almost like it. Yeah, it's like they cut you. So yeah, in that time as well, it was in 2011. So I did two tries for Emirates. And then I found out about a journey called Global Challenge, and it's a journey that you can go travel the world and do volunteer work. And in 2011, it was actually a significant year for me, because that was at the end of that year. They went on a journey, and it was just after the tsunami in Japan, and we had to go do first labor work there, clean houses that the people died at. And yeah, so I had to start raising funds. So I did all my flights and my dollars, I put them away, and I started taking pictures, just casual pictures of people, taking photos. And then by the end of 2011, we went on to this journey. And yeah, it was really amazing, because for me, I found my purpose. I really started my first purpose there, because yeah, my life changed because I got saved on that journey. So today I'm a believer, and I got saved on that journey. And I think I was so broken, because you deal with the worst things in life. I mean, you worked in people's houses that drowned, and I was faced with real reality, not just like problems that we see on a daily basis. And that's where I really found out, okay, wow, there's more to life, and there's actually bigger things. And my wife now was also on that journey. And I come from a very impure background, but yeah, I found purity, and I found my wife. And then when we came back in Feb, it was significant. And we started serious dating. But on my journey to go onto this trip, I had to raise funds. And I thought if I asked 500 Rand for each person, and then I got to Serengeti Golf Estate, it's the biggest estate in our area, and I asked that person who worked there for $500, and it was John Hart. And yeah, shame. And he was like the developer, and he worked there. And I said, one day I was late for a meeting, and I said to him, John, I was thinking today, as I sat here, I was wondering, how can I make 100 Rand out of each of these people? And this penny dropped, because I have Googled in the past cheap startups, and I've Googled, and actually if you go Google it today still, you'll find dog grooming is one of the cheapest startups to start a business. And I said, John, when I get back from this trip next year, I'm going to start a dog grooming parlor in Serengeti. And he said, no, Hannes, it's a great idea. Nobody thought of it. Do it. I said, okay, cool. And I went on the trip. My life got changed. And then we got back from the trip. I didn't have any money, but we went on so we started our research. We Googled, and there was we only found one training school of dog grooming. And we went there, and as I started learning about dog grooming, it is a sad environment. Like the whole look and feel towards it, it's just sad. And I'm a big animal. That's my biggest passion. So then the whole thing started with the dream to let's build a doggy parlor. Let's make a difference in this simple. It's almost like gardening services or window cleaning services. It's stuff people frown upon. But I thought, okay, well, I'll give my best shot at it. So I still had to go and fly, make money for my local airline. And then my wife, Pietru, then started washing dogs in people's bathrooms. And for 6 months, she washed dogs in people's bathrooms until we saved up enough money for our first trailer. It was 30,000 Rand, I remember. And then on the 1st of September 2012, and then we launched the business. And yes, you know, you have all these dreams and aspirations, and it was super exciting. I still remember that first month of September, we launched with a fashion show in Serengeti Golf Estate, the clubhouse. We had dogs with clothes on, and there was 4 people that rocked up at this event. And it is so cool. Those 4 people, they know exactly who they are. They are still Ultimate Pet Care supporting customers.
Wow.
And it's amazing because they saw us that day when we spoke about the vision of Ultimate Pet Care and the dream. And yeah, it's just, yeah, and that month we did 44 dogs, our very, very first month.
Amazing.
And then,
Amazing.
okay, so fast forwarded, it took us 6 years. We built this business for 6 years. In this time as well, I got an email from Emirates, and they said to me, Hannes, we've got, you can apply again because it's a year later. And I said, no, I can't, I'm married now. And I've been trying two times and it didn't work. And they said, no, your wife can also go through as a single person. They can interview her and see what happens. And it's so significant in 2013. So the business wasn't even a year old. We went for this interview again because that was still my biggest dream. And then we got the opportunity. Both of us went through from 800 people, cut. And then we ended up top 20. And we were married not even for 6 months. And then both of us got the opportunity to go in. And it's amazing. Only later in life you realized why you never should have gotten the job at the first time. Because when I was 21 and I got that job, shucks, no, I think I would have been dead. Because it's just, yeah, I didn't have purpose. I didn't have any sense of money. I didn't have any knowledge on, oh man, I was in the world. So yeah, and then me and my wife, we went to Dubai. I was willing to leave the doggy parlor. I actually left it. I found a friend of mine. I asked her, listen, can you look after the doggy parlor? It's one trailer, there's 50 dogs, and go. So we went to Dubai with a very specific plan because I realized that the stuff that we had is very simple. So let's save up money. So I would call myself a small photographer, but I realized if we can save up a certain amount of money. So that time our goal was 400,000. So we realized if we can save that amount of money in the time that we're in Dubai, we can actually come back and then start something here. We can buy a proper trailer. I can buy a proper camera. And then the journey started. In 2013, by the end of November, we started, we saved nonstop. I got the opportunity. I mean, if you fly for Emirates, that's still one of the best airlines in the world. We flew to, I saw 65 countries. And yeah, I'll speak on traveling in a bit as well, because it's so amazing why traveling is so good for you, because it shows you what's out there and how big stuff you must dream, because anything is possible. And that really gave me, like, I'm very privileged to have seen so many countries. And then when we reached our target, it was so cool. We reached it in just over a year and a half. We were very diligent in saving. So then we had the money. My wife actually fell pregnant as well. And we thought, okay, well, that's just a good time in 2016 to come back. And then we still only had one trailer, which Geraldi, I can mention it. She was the girl. She looked after our business when we went here. And then we started our second trailer in 2016. So yeah, it already took us 4 years. That was 4 years later, and we only still had 2 trailers. And then in 2017, actually the end of 2016, when I came back from Emirates, I had this vision to start this business and build a national mobile dog grooming unit. And I had the vision writing on the wall. I've put there and said how many trailers. I remember still Ultimate Pet Care Cape Town, and it was all part of my vision wall. And then at the end of 2016, I just felt so down because I came from Dubai. I left all that glamour coming back. Yeah, I wash dogs every single day. It's not a very nice job. You sit at the back of a bucky, you drive through all these estates, you see how people are living, and you're just like earning 10, 20,000 Rand, and it's like, it's not worth it. And I actually sold the business for 100,000 Rand, and the deal didn't go through because the guy didn't pay the deposit. I was super upset because I was like, I'm going to use this money to do something else. And yeah, well, thank goodness that it didn't solve, because then 6 months later, we actually in 2017, so this was end of 2017, we sold our first franchise, and I got an amazing partner, or not a partner, a person. This is the people that's part of the team who guided and assisted me actually for the first time, because I wasn't raised in a business household. And then this lady, which I'm very dear to, she just worked through me with a process of starting a franchise agreement. And we sold in 2016 our first franchise. So we had 3 trailers on the road. And then in 2018, I had the opportunity to sell another 2 trailers, and it was significant because it's people that actually came to me to ask for work, or it was a student that asked for part-time work, and they just saw that the phone never stopped ringing. And it's this bringing excellence into an environment. And both of these 2 people, while they were just helping out on 2 days a week, they said to me they also want to one day own a dog grooming parlor. And I said, well, it's possible. So in 2018, we sold 2 more, which is Potchefstroom, to a 20-year-old student and to a lady that was actually retrenched. I share the ages, 42, because I want to show that our business model now is open for any person, young, old, and that was 2018. And then at the end of 2019, so it's another 2 years went past. To the end of 2019, it's not even a year ago, we sold another 2 franchises, which was Silver Lakes and Irene. And it's amazing. Since that moment we sold Silver Lakes, the whole business has just exploded. And currently we're sitting this year alone, in a year that people are fearing and doubtful. We've sold 20 franchises already. We've launched 18 of them, and we still have 8 more to launch before the end of the year. And so then we will have a total of 25 trailers running South Africa. And it's amazing. My goal was, I don't know how I got to this goal. I said, I want to have 20 trailers in 2020. Oh, it makes sense, 2020, all the 20s. And then, we got to this goal. So today, I started off washing dogs, and I'm really good at washing dogs. And today I can only testify that through a lot of hard work, I don't think people understand the amount of hours and sacrifice that goes into a vision. And it took us 6 years to have a 3rd trailer. Okay, now in 1 year we did 25, and it's just, I know the vision is expanding exponentially. And I share this because it's amazing. God is good and He's so faithful. But we've got 107 inquiries for new franchises at the moment that we are dealing with. So it is phenomenal. I've got an amazing team, which I had to employ them within 6 months. In lockdown, before lockdown, we had 3,000 likes on Facebook. So in lockdown, I decided, let's make the vision, let's use social media and build the brand. And I asked for witty inventions and ideas, and we got the idea of, let's start washing celebrities' dogs and use their following. And wow, it is amazing. Our Facebook actually is now at almost 8,000 followers in like 3 months that we've grown. We've got heaps of celebrity dogs that we are currently doing. All their following together is almost 2 million people. So it's just insane that you must just think out of the box when it's like, when the situation, because we had to close down completely in lockdown because we weren't essential service in the beginning. So today, this is what I do. I'm now a salesperson in selling dog grooming franchises. I'm still very hands-on. We've always said we want to build a support structure and a family scenario, and I can testify of it, and I testify of it today that we've got almost 60 people employed by the concept already. My vision is very clear. I mean, I want 333 trailers in the next 5 years. That will create 1,000 jobs, and we will sit on 100,000 dogs per month. So Kevin, it's just, that's my story in long and short. You can cut pieces out of it. And
I love it, Hannes. And so, you know, I like the part that you still say that you're still good at washing dogs. I want to know, as the first question, do you still wash a dog every now and again just to get the feel of it again?
Kevin, I think that part is the part people don't understand, that you need to start there, washing the dog.
Right.
I washed enough dogs in 6 years to not wash dogs every single day anymore, but I still, every launch, I wash a dog.
Right.
And I'll always jump in. And I think that's so important for you to start at the bottom, because if my groomer or my person doesn't pitch up, I'm going on with the business. I'm going to wash their dog. Even if I don't do it as well as you do, I'll explain to the customer why it's not done as well, but he'll have a clean dog at least. It won't be But no, today I am a qualified groomer, and I can still groom any breed, from a schnauzer to a poodle. It maybe takes longer, but every launch that we are doing, I really try to go and wash one dog. And when I wash that dog, I always remind myself, like, wow, Hannes, this is amazing. And we've always tried to wash dogs faithfully. I remember that first month I said 44 dogs. I'm really into stats, so it's very interesting to see how it's grown and stuff. And yeah, last month our total figures was 3,162 dogs. So there's a massive growth. And then in total, the group has washed just like 100 dogs, under 80,000 dogs that we've washed in the past 8 years. So, and I can testify even that most of it is, all of it. Like, our percentage of bad reviews are so little. And it's just because the people that's joining the business truly have a love and a passion for animals. And yeah, people definitely, they look down on groomers, and they look down at the industry, and they think you're just a dog groomer and you just wash the dogs, but they don't understand what actually goes into it, and the love that you should have for for a dog that bites, or a dog that's rough, or the heat and the wetness. And yeah, so it's a super humble job. I mean, that's like, I can't think of a more humble job than washing a dog, but yeah, we do it with pleasure.
Yes. And honestly, what I liked about it when we started this morning, one of the things you said was, you took a job like washing dogs, which wasn't a very sexy job at that stage when you started, and you made it into a professional service. And that's quite interesting, because I know, I mean, you guys wash our dogs and cats, and I think we win the competition for the biggest dogs in town. And I have so much respect for your people when they come and wash those dogs, because I've tried washing them and it's impossible to do it. Like, I don't know what you guys do. I'm not sure what the secret sauce is inside that van, but my dog goes in there, and an hour later, there's a clean dog that comes out. And I'm so grateful for that I don't mind whatever it costs, I'll pay it, because to me, it's a professional service. So in the lockdown, when you said that you were not an essential service, like, we were talking about it, that, dog parlors should be essential services. And today it's a professional service. So well done with that. Well done with identifying that as a need in the market. So Hannes, I want to talk about. Sorry, do you want to add to that?
No. Continue.
Right. So I want to talk about quickly talents. You know that on Take a Seat TV, we talk about talents and passions. And really, what I'm trying to do with this new venture of mine is help people understand that if you only focus on the talents that you've been given and you add passion to that, you have an opportunity to do something with your life. Now, this does not exclude people who are working for companies, who are self-employed or entrepreneurs. There's various fields that you can use the same concept in. So you don't necessarily have to become an entrepreneur. And I'm a firm believer that entrepreneurship is a calling. It's not something everyone can do. So we also need employees, and we need passionate employees. And one of the things that you spoke about is, firstly, you spoke about your talents and passions. I wanted you to just elaborate on that, how you got to that. And secondly, you spoke about your employees and how you choose them. And obviously that's based on similar concepts, identifying talents and passions. So just talk generally how you discovered your talents and passions in the beginning, how the passion is actually driving it, and then also how you look at that with employees.
Okay, cool. Kevin, so it's amazing that in time you see so much. And in school, I remember I was always the one, and I'll start with photography, because that was actually something that I loved. I had a small camera, and at every event I took the photos, and I was the one sharing it and whatever. But that was my one passion. And I had the opportunity to really serve a career of wedding photography, and I had an international wedding and all of that. And then I always had a big passion for animals, like dogs. And that's why I say, if I look back, I always wanted to become a vet and a pilot. So the dogs I've actually been, I remember as a kid, I had hamsters, I had snakes, I remember I had like I had a time there was like 10 snakes in my house. I had like money put away that this food goes for this snake and this. So my parents was very like generous in having pets and looking after pets, because it's actually a massive responsibility. So you've got this dream, and I think that dream has been placed in you for a reason. And looking at time, it's like, wow. So I couldn't become a vet, but today I work with dogs, and I'm blessed. I only see the glamorous part of dogs, because you make them nice, you make them good, and you don't share the operational part and all that. So that passion was actually birthed long ago. And I think a lot of us has got that idea. If you think about what in school, what was the one thing that you actually wanted to do? And at first, I always said you never can become rich being a groomer, because I looked at the people who wash dogs, and it was always this, I don't want to say it, but it's like, it's people that actually, they look the part, they've got bad clothing on, they smoke, and it's just, the whole look is like sad. And I was just like, wow, let's bring excellence into this thing. And that's where, when Ultimate Pet Care started, from the day one, we did it we launched with a fashion show, because there was only 4 people, but we did it in excellence. And because if you don't do it fully persuaded, then rather don't do it. So getting back to your question on your purpose and what is in your heart, even as an employer, we were sitting on a digital age where people can use a platform or their cell phones to make money off. You can be an employee, and you can coach people on the part-time online and start selling programs. And I remember I never did one course in photography, because again, I don't want to blame it on poverty, but there wasn't money for that stuff. So I had YouTube. So I YouTubed hours and hours and hours, and that set me off to become a wedding photographer. And even while I was pursuing this dog grooming business, and that's what in the beginning, it didn't make lots of money. It was really just it was a passion. It was like, oh, I'm building this business. But in the meanwhile, I had to do network marketing, and I had to do photography just to keep alive and just survive, and make other things was paying the bills. But I had to use different subjects. And I think people sometimes just want to walk in and start a business and earn money. But the reality is, you should sometimes bend your back. You should do that 9-to-5 job. And I always say, use that opportunity as a stepping stone to save up to become that entrepreneur, and do it part-time. And if you're not willing to put in the extra hours in the evenings and over weekends when everybody else isn't there, then I don't think this is really for you. You must then stay where you are. But I mean, pursue photography, pursue social media, pursue all these creative things, because we're going into a very, very big digital era. And I mean, a phone is so well today that you can use it. So people should really start changing the way they think about their current situation. They should see it as a stepping stone to get to the next level. And this is a part of what we are going to be using to become that person. And I take teachers as well. I have a friend, she actually did this online math classes. She's making more money through the online math classes than she's making as a teacher. And she's a good entrepreneur. She's earning 2 streams of income. So yeah, it's just, there is in your industry a way to, and I think that's the exciting part, is look into your exact job where you are and see, what can I do to equip and train other people? There's billions of people in this world.
Right.
And yeah, that's what I would say. It starts, you know what the dream and the passion is.
Right. And then Hannes, tell me about the people that work for you, because, and this is something I wanted you to just to touch on, because in one of my courses, I teach about what I call the MDP, which is your major definite purpose. That's the main flow of income. And then you have all the other income streams that you were talking about. So I honestly believe that everyone has the ability to build 7 or 8 income streams. It's a fact. And it's just people just don't realize what they have in their hands. But there's a thing called the MDP, which is your major definite purpose. And for some people, that's their business. For other people, that is their place of employment. So, you know, it's really important that for me, that we realize as a community, especially in South Africa, that besides needing entrepreneurs, we also need really fantastic employees. You know, we can't all be entrepreneurs. It's a gifting. So talk to me about your employees, because you as the business owner also have to identify certain qualities in your employees, because if you don't see that in them, it's obviously going to affect your business. So how do you go about finding those people, and what do you look for?
Okay, so Kevin, I'm gonna start first by you need a mentor to teach you certain things that they have learned from. And you're a great example, a physical person that we can actually go to. But I remember when I started off, I only had books. So I'm a firm believer that you should read. So I've got two mentors. So if I ever get a chat with you, I will also always ask, who do you follow? Even if you're a photographer, what other photographers are you following? Or if you're so I read two people. It's Sir Richard Branson and Robert Kiyosaki. And they are exponential and excellent in what they do. And those were the people I read their books. And also I've learned through their books, I've learned different strategies and stuff that I had to apply. And I then got to a 4-day week. There was somebody that spoke about a 4-day week and the productivity of a 4-day week. So when we built the blueprint of Ultimate Pet Care, I said, well, let's be different and build a 4-day blueprint. So we actually work 4 days on, 3 days off, 4 days on, 3 days off. Yeah, and I want to say that is amazing. The productivity of your employees are mind-blowing. And I know Microsoft also does it. Our Some Trailers does operate on a 5th day, and head office staff also come, but then they get rewarded for that day as an extra day. So they earn extra income for that day that they work. So they work with such good ethics. So I can honestly say employees has not been my biggest issue. Of course, there's always issues. But the reality is, if you look after them in a good way, and I say look after them in small things. On their birthday, give them a hug, or give them flowers, or give them a voucher. Give them proper uniform. It's small things that make them feel that they are part of it. And then as well, take a nice picture of them and give it to them to put on their walls, or give them a cup with their picture on. And I've seen, and this is where we will get to that. What's the vision with Ultimate Pet Care is that dog grooming in any other part in the world, it's actually a degree, and it takes 2 years to become a professional dog groomer in Europe and in Australia. Where in South Africa, a person picks up a scissor, there's no regulations, and there is no training facilities of that sort. So my dream is eventually to go into the rural areas and uplift people, that unskilled people, and skill them with a skill that I think it's such a big skill. I mean, you don't just become a hairdresser. So it's easy to wash a dog that doesn't have hair, but it's like for a Schnauzer and a Maltese and all these different dogs, it's a skill. And then it's not just a skill, it's actually, you have to have at least a passion for animals. Okay, so I'm talking a lot about that, but the where I get excited is if you look after your staff and you set the tone of, because they really become a replication of who you are. If you come in every morning and you are joyful and you're excited, and even if inside it's not like that, you just become that, and you motivate people, and you ask about them. Ask your employees, how's your family? The next time you go to that person, I ask him, how is the grade 2 going now for that child? Or just have a little bit of interest, because that small things makes you feel, oh wow, he actually listens when I speak. And then when it comes to my head office, so my head office, I am beyond blessed, and this I'll share some one day on another meeting. But the guys that work for me came from serious big industries, but they caught the vision and they believed in the vision, and they're not working even, I think, for 20% of the salaries that they earned in the big corporate companies. But they saw the vision and the belief in what they had. So they are fully persuaded. So I've got a core of 5 people that's working with me. They are fully persuaded. They've got a percentage share in sales and everything. So for all the growth, they will get their benefit out of it as well. And then they fully persuaded. And then the other thing is, I've also learned is, if a person, you should really trust your gut. But if a person does not fit in, or brings a negative spirit into the environment, you should be able to release. And the quicker you learn to release people, don't try to hold on to people, you will find another one, and there will be another person with a better attitude that will fit that position. And I've learned that the people who, I mean, all my managers that have worked for me, with the day they went, I released them with such a big releasing, and I asked them to just, I really just pray blessing over them, and I release them with so much joy that they all look back, and I get messages from them, and they always say, they look at Ultimate Pet and look at it become so. you must change your attitude towards stuff. And then if people go, release them, bless them, you will find another. Then you jump in, you wash the dog by yourself until you find that other groomer. So I really try to that is the heart, and people on my heart, equipping people. I've got one lady who's been working for me. She's a groomer, and she just told me the other day. She said, "Hannes, I'm selling clothes now in the weekends, and I've saved up X amount of money." And I was just so impressed by her, and she wants to buy a car now, and it's just, it's amazing when you see your heart becomes other people's heart. But just be intentional and be real. There's a place to be a boss, and there's a place to be agitative and angry, but you don't have to be that all the time.
All the time, absolutely. Now, tell me something really interesting about your groomers, and I obviously work with one of your franchisees, Michael. And interesting about them is they are very passionate about dogs as well. So is that something you look for in your franchisees? Is that something you have on a checklist saying, are you passionate about dogs? And you do a test with them, or how do you do that?
So we build a whole process when you onboard Ultimate Pet Care. We ask that you join through the website, and then there's a process. I normally give you the first call to just introduce you to the business, and then we've actually got 2 vettings. So we've got Natalie, which is our franchise director. She'll give you a call and she'll do a proper check on really dogs. So we do cater for a lot of different people, and I think that's what I get excited about. We've got a 20-year-old student that's joining. We've got a lady that's actually just retired, and she wants to do something keeping herself busy. So it's just and even this lady is driving and reversing a trailer, which is amazing. So we do ask that you because we also then have investors, people that just they buy the business and they employ people to do it. Whoever deals with the dogs, they have to have at least a passion for dogs, and you pick it up immediately. It's like so amazing to see if people really do like dogs and if they don't. We really try, and I must say, a person that inquires for a mobile dog grooming parlor already have a passion for animals. I think it's a business that's very unique in a sense, because you're going to be dealing with animals. So just to explain how there's a 12-week onboarding, and the whole process takes for us to find and equip and train everybody up. It takes 12 weeks, and to build the trailer, because we've got fully furnished fiberglass trailers at the moment, and everything is in there. So we've got the hot water. We do everything for you. You literally have to pay the money and then find us a manager, or yourself going to be the manager. And then we source the groomers, we train the groomers, we set up the business, we register the business, because those were the things that I struggled with. We set up your bank account, and we really try to make it as effective and efficient as possible, so that you can only focus on the dog and the client. That's why marketing is such a big deal for me. And I think, coming from a photography background, if you look on our social media platforms and stuff, we've got a great lady who's in charge of social media, but it's really, I always want excellence. So because it's so, this era we live in social media, it sells. So everything has to look good and it looks nice, and you can use a phone as well, but it's just, those things are important to me, that we will always focus on the branding and make sure that you are visible and all that stuff. You focus purely on the dog, make sure that dog is happy, bringing the best care to man's best friend. That is our vision or slogan. Then because the dog is happy, the client is happy, and then that client will make you a monthly client, and then you can start selling all the other products, which is dog walking, dog food, and upsell.
Love it. And so it's interesting. You talk about all these facets. What I'm passionate about in teaching people: vision, your goals, talents, passions, all these things you have down to a T. And it's interesting. It's like the secret sauce to any venture, to any life, is to have a vision. You speak about vision boards. I'm so passionate about vision boards. Everything that I can walk around in my house and I can point to things that I've got in my house that I had on a vision board many years ago. And I've got things on my vision boards that I probably won't see for a couple of years, but it doesn't matter. It's just an amazing thing that happens once you discover vision. But there's an interesting part to this. When I teach young people around vision and goals and passions and talents, sometimes there's a starting point that's missing. And I'm interested to talk to you about it, because you came from a family that wasn't wealthy. They were just normal employed people. I think you said your mother and father were in the teaching industry. So you didn't know money at all. And so the danger you have at that start, when you start off in life, is that you have what I call a poverty mindset. And that's someone who's always focused on all the bills that we can't get paid and we don't have enough income. It's always that problem. Like your focus becomes, oh no, we don't have enough money to pay the bills. And the shift that happened to you was the move to that discussion you had about how can I get 100 Rand from every person in this estate? So tell me, how did you shift your mind from we don't have enough to I want enough? Can you remember any incident, any story about
that? So I definitely believe that your upbringing plays a role. I don't think it determines your end, but it definitely plays a role because we never had the luxuries. We always went on like a farm holiday, and it's nothing with holidays, but it's the realities. Our needs were definitely met. We were raised up privileged enough, but we didn't live extravagantly at all. I mean, 4 boys, 2 teachers as parents, but we had love and support. And I must say, for my mom, she's my biggest supporter, and she's always just believed in me. And I remember so clearly my one brother, if he listens on this call, he always said to me, you just want money. It's like, because I will mock them and I will say, I'm going to be a millionaire when I'm 21. And I remember that. And then he would be so irritated with me. And he said, you just want money and it's all about money. And I said, no, it's not. It's just, I'm saying it. So I actually learned to speak life into situations, and I'm a dreamer. So coming to the vision part as well, you need to put down everything that you are thinking at the moment or thought. You need to really put it down in writing or on the wall, because you do not understand what does it mean in the end. My biggest picture on my vision walls is having an airline one day. So it's Ultimate Air. And the reason why I speak about it confidently is like, if I don't speak about it confidently, how is it going to happen? So people need to know already now that when there is no airline, there is going to be Ultimate Airline. What Emirates did in Dubai, we will do it in South Africa. So we will have an international brand coming from here. And the company is already registered in faith because, okay, so that's vision part. But because there wasn't always money, I had to always think of stuff. So I sold fudge and I sold things, and I was every market. I remember even every Christmas I was at the Garden of Lights at Empress Palace. I was showing people in a reindeer suit where to go to, and it was always about making extra money. Otherwise, I don't have like lots of pocket money. And yeah, so that was the first thing. And as well, after school, I immediately had to go to work. But when I started working, I bought myself a camera to make other money. So it was always been a part of me to think, okay, how can I make more money? So, and honestly, today, it's really not about the money. I love giving, and I believe that part of my biggest purpose is to be a kingdom builder. But today, it was definitely a thing here. So I think to get back to the question is, I wasn't raised financially educated. And I think that was, if I could have everything over, I think I would have been further maybe if I had the knowledge and the experience. I mean, my dad just never even registered business, so I couldn't even ask him how to register a business. So I had to learn very expensive mistakes. I didn't know what even SARS or UIF, I mean, QIDA, those people nailed me so big time. I paid penalties for days because I didn't know. And that was my biggest struggle. And I always say that is like when I meet young people, I'm like, I love to just share knowledge with them because I feel like I just want to, they shouldn't make the same mistakes because it costs so much and it actually takes so much time. Because it took me 6 years to establish all these things. And today I'm very firm on like helping, educating, equipping young entrepreneurs. I do love startups. I've got a couple of friends who started businesses and, I didn't financially help them. I just gave them go man, try it, do it. I believe, just do it. That's like Nike is so spot on with that. It's like, do it. You will only know. And the benefit of anything in life, as a human, you will grow. If you plant a seed, it will grow. If you start something today, sell cookies, just sell it faithfully and sell that 1 packet. And then hopefully next week you'll sell 2 packets because the infrastructure has made it so simple. On Facebook, you've got 5, 4, 6,000, I don't know how many people, 500 people. I promise you, there's an auntie that will feel bad for you and they will buy the cookies. And then you sell 2, and then you approach a spa. And so it's really, I just love seeing how people can excel. And I just think people, from my experience, is that I wish I had more knowledge on business, but I'm thankful in a sense as well that I didn't have it, because I've got such a heart for people starting off businesses that doesn't have the knowledge, and especially people that come from like a poorer environment who didn't have all the privileges and stuff. So, that's my compassion. But if I can give people advice, I think train yourself on like a bit of accounts, or just learn how money works. What is cash flow? I mean, Robert Kiyosaki got a great cash flow quadrant book that he explains it, and understand why cash is king, explain why debt is bad and there's good debt, bad debt, and why. So I think people should learn on that, because that's the stuff that actually kills you in the long run. Because when you start expanding, you use all your cash flow, and then you don't have money more, and then you become negative towards the vision, and you feel like, but this thing is not working, I'm not making money. You're just putting all your efforts, all your your money into it, and then at the end of the day, actually, it was just mismanaging of funds, or you could have done it in a different way. So, and then, and don't overextend yourself. You will have the 25 trailers one day, but just start with the one that you currently have and do it really good. And because people start believing in you when you do that good, and you do it over and over and over. I mean, all my friends knew I was going to wash dogs when I did it 8 years ago. None of them wanted to join me. Today, well, I have friends who joined, and even one of my brothers bought a trailer. So it is exciting to see that they start seeing that, wow, it actually you can make money off anything. And even if it's just $100 off a dog room wash, you just need to do it. Consistency. And I also think sometimes people dream and think they need to sell massive land earth movers to make millions. But the problem is you make your margin of people that you're approaching so small, where if you sell quantities is actually the secret. Rather sell 1 million products at $50 than selling one product at $1 million. And that for me is something that I love coffee. Coffee, I think I'll still have a coffee shop as well one day, because that is something so small, but it's generating so much money, and it's creating so much job as well. So I hope it answers the question, Kevin.
What's interesting about that conversation is, if I track back to when you started and where you are now, all you've talked about from when you started the business was how you can generate more. And yes, the measurement in business is money. It's not the love of money that drives you. Money is unfortunately or fortunately the measurement for success in business. But it's what you can do with that money that really makes, what makes life worth living. And so it's interesting. A part of the poverty mindset is the one part is I'm scared to have money because I'm scared it corrupts me. The other part is I have bills and I don't know how to pay those bills. And both those you have to overcome by thinking about, how do I generate more money? But as soon as you generate more money, then the thought of what is this money going to do to me? Then that starts with you. And so it's interesting. Talk to me about your vision around giving and how you see money, because to me, it sounds like you're more focused about giving and sharing than what you are about accumulating money for yourself.
So I remember, and I'll give the credit to John Hart. I was sitting there in Serengeti. I didn't have anything yet. I just had a dream we were still discussing their names. And he said to me, Hannes, so you need to, in our next session, tell me what car you're going to drive one day, how your house is going to look one day, and where you're going to stay one day. I thought, why would you ask me this question? And I remember, silly enough, I said I want to drive a Fortuner. I said I want to have a house big enough for each child, and I want to live at the beach. So that was what I said. And he said to me that day, he said, okay, you need to make it very clear. He said, because when you reach these goals, it's your problem if you made it too small. But if you reach these goals, over and above, you give. Unfortunately, I did say M4 as well. It was really that really changed my outlook on stuff and on money and on so that's the one part. So I really set up what do I want out of life? Because if you don't set in your heart what is going to make you happy, then nothing is going to make you happy. Another trip overseas is not going to make you happy. Another car is not going to make it does feel nice to drive in a nice car, but it's only for a sense of, until that bill also becomes too much and you become negative towards it and it creates chaos. So I would really give people advice is like, from the start, be clear on what do you want out of life. Have that written down, because when you reach those goals, over and above that, you give. Yeah, we do give, and my whole next chapter of my business will be in educating, equipping people in a training school, less fortunate people who doesn't have the opportunity, maybe people from a township area or unskilled people, to skill them up, because I believe that there's a lot of opportunity for them. But then my other part is also to go into the whole animal cruelty register side of it, and create funds where we can create awareness and make sure that dogs are looked after and animals, and like the SPCA. But we are fortunate enough to have a network now where we can just ask every client to donate towards the vision, and they can see that the money will go. And then I'm also a firm believer that you should give money away. That first of all, I believe in being planted and being serving in a house of God. So you need to give, and people don't understand. And wow, it's such a big thing that breaks up. The more you give, the more you receive. And yeah, there's a lot. I can just say, I can testify of so many places where I remember last year, it was June last year, I gave my biggest offering or my biggest pledge towards a program that was not benefiting me. And that's also important. Sometimes you should give to people that doesn't benefit you and your business and stuff. It should have nothing to do with you. And then after that, stuff started just opening up. And it's funny because it's favor. It's different type of stuff that open. People that get put on your path, opportunities that was given to you. And yeah, today we've given our biggest offering again once into a project that has got nothing to do with us, but it's just, I just love to help and educate and equip people. And once you start doing that, there's freedom, because you don't chase another paycheck. And if you look at my life currently, like we've always stayed in a simple place. We don't have a house yet, but it's because I've also seen that I can save money by renting, and it doesn't put me in one spot, and I can move and I can go places. And yeah, today I'm thankful for those. I didn't make those serious commitments when I didn't have the money to buy a house, but the cool thing is, you should always just bless people. I mean, the more you invest in people, the knowledge you share, I mean, it comes back double-fold. And the more you give, you actually attract those people. And yeah, it is significant, but it's all principle, and you need to speak life. Oh my word, you need to speak it as if it's not. Because I remember so clearly, like I spoke about Ultimate Pet Care Cape Town, and I'm saying it again, Ultimate Pet Care Ultimate Air, because there's nothing yet, but watch, because it was just one day I got this thing. Cool.
No. I like it. That's why I'm going like this. I love the ideas. I love the idea of an airline, and we need airlines. We need better airlines. So
yeah, it's cool. So yeah, Kevin. So I believe, become a part or start giving to something that's not benefiting you, but also give towards your religious group, but you need to give. The quicker you start, if you learn from all these people that's very successful. I mean, Robert Kiyosaki, I mean, he asks two questions whenever he sits with any person, and he'll ask him, who's your mentors? He wants to know that first. Who do you look up to? Where's your vision board? And that's always something I will ask someone when I walk in the house. I say, where's your vision board? And then the third thing is, he says you at least give 20% away of all your income. So it's just amazing that the wealthiest people all believe in the principle of the more you give, the more you equip others, the more you'll receive. And that's so true.
Yeah, and Hannes, it's interesting when you start out in business, and this was my journey as well, was it was almost like you start a river of money flowing towards you, but that when you start understanding money correctly, it's like you're standing next to the river and you're managing the river, the flow to someone else. You in the beginning, the flow comes to you. It's all about what you can get out of it, and later you're standing next to the river and the flow goes to someone else. And once you grasp that concept, then the river just becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, and you realize your life is much bigger than what you thought. And so that's also an interesting concept, because in one of my courses I teach about a community goal, if you add a community goal to your life, immediately what it does is it expands your financial goals, because it's easy to have a vision for your house and your car and your overseas holidays and what you want for your kids and private schools and all that. But as soon as you add the community to your goals and you say, well, I want to change someone's life around me, and suddenly you think, well, I need more money. I can't do that without money. And then that expands your financial goal as well. So I think many people have really small goals because they're thinking about themselves and not thinking about the community. So how has the community affected your vision for your business?
Wow, massively. Because yeah, my spiritual leader, he plants words of wisdom in my mind on a weekly basis, and whatever he says, I just implement it in my own life. If he says it, I say it. So we've got a certain things like one parlor in many locations, and we will have that. And it's just like we will have nationwide franchises. We'll have an international brand because my leader said so. I say it. So I do believe that you should surround yourself with people that has done it already, but that to give you motivation to dream big. Because it's weird and it's so interesting that people do not think big, and I think they are too scared, or they are sometimes afraid that it will not happen, and they are scared that they will have to face that rejection. So, but for me, I've changed that into like it excites me. It excites me to think, okay, wow, if I write this down, if it comes to pass or not, it excites the living everything out of me to type it on and put it on the wall, because it's just like, okay. And it is so. You must build it up. It's like you must build that faith up. That's why it's like a canvas. It's a dot today. It's like an airline. I mean, whatever. That's not my example. Or a dog grooming parlor. Just start with a dot, put it on. And one morning you wake up and you're like, oh, there's a parlor in Cape Town. Put Cape Town on the wall. And it's amazing, because at the end, then you start believing in yourself as well, because you're like, I actually felt right. I did. But you need to start, and you need to listen to people, involve yourself, listen to podcasts, listen to people that has done it. And there's a reason why, because they've learned and they just share. And it's all about principles. So if you apply these principles, some people are fortunate to happen overnight. I want to say 99% of people, it does not happen overnight. So rather let's just enjoy the journey and embrace the journey. And even today, I'm sitting here. I believe so I can watch dogs the best on this planet. But now I'm in a different phase. And now we are running not just 4 people, we're running actually like 60 people. So it's like every time now I need to involve myself with people that actually has been placed in a position where they've also looked after more people. And you will get to those people. It's again, who do you surround yourself with? Or if you don't know, ask people, who can I get in contact with? And I want to also say, people are scared, and I'll not speak on education, but what I will say is use money and spend it on courses that's self-development, that will build you up. It is just phenomenal. Self-development courses is the number one thing I would say to do. And if you don't know where to start, there's so many opportunities out there. Like there's network marketing companies. Now, I'm not for any network marketing company at the moment, but I just say that's a great way of starting a business where people's build the infrastructure, and you can face rejection. You can face people saying no. You can face stuff, because you're going to get it. And you actually become hard. And it's like, you just continue. Nothing to do with a person. You just continue. And the more you grind, the more you learn, and you figure out who you are and what you want to establish. So spend money on educational videos and educational, like Kevin, or like the Robert Kiyosaki's or the Sir Richard Branson's, which is in my life, my people that I aspire to.
Love it. Right, Hannes, just to end off, so we've got 2 minutes left. I just want to quickly talk to you about your company at the moment. If I'm a prospective doggy parlor owner, I'm really interested after this video. I'm like, Hannes, I love what you're doing. I love dogs. I love cats. I want to be part of this. I want to buy 10 trailers. I want 10 trailers over the next 10 years. What do I do? How do I go about it?
Wow. So we've got a very simple onboarding process. You will start just by going on to ultimatepetcare.co.za, and then you go and become a franchise. We'll send you all the documentation. You can get a rundown on the cost and a rundown on the turnover, and you will be shocked. It's actually amazing. And that's the first part. And then there's a couple of calls and vettings that goes on. And then once the finances and all are sorted, we do the onboarding. We've made the process super simple. So yeah, I want to share this because I believe this is what the next chapter of Ultimate Pet Care will be. We will be launching our 25 trailers this year. Next year, we will have 40 trailers. But then we're going to look into three things. We're going to start Ultimate Pet Care World, which will be a dog grooming facility where people will be able to walk their dogs. We will put up kennels and hotels there because we're building a network of dogs. We currently have almost 3,500 dogs. So we can look after these dogs going on holidays. Then we want to create a training environment where we can train up people to become dog behaviorists, of course, dog groomers, and even in management. We want to train people how to run the dog grooming parlor specifically. And from there on, we will starting up our resorts, where people can take the dogs over to Durban with the dogs. And then even, of course, the whole concept of the restaurants, where Ultimate Pet Care will be a food place where people can buy their dog food. They can bring their dogs to the restaurant. So yeah, we want to really create a world. And then, of course, the big thing is the Ultimate Pet Care Animal Cruelty Association, that it's an NPO that we've registered. And the whole vision behind that is that all the people that's involved in Ultimate Pet Care, a portion of your wash will go towards the animal cruelty. And of course, we want to start a whole adoption process. We want to rehabilitate dogs, get vets involved. And that is the big part. That's the charity part. And that's actually, if you want to really ask me, what I wanted to do is I wanted to save animals. So I can't wait for us to get to that part. I know it is a journey. I would have been there long ago, but I know we have to build the infrastructure first, raise the money, and then it will just be so much easier at the end. So yeah, that's Ultimate Pet Care in a nutshell.
Well done. Hannes, listen, it was an amazing interview with you. Thanks so much for joining me this morning. I must say, from the person I met 6 years ago to the guy you've become, I'm really proud of you, proud of what you guys are doing. And every time I see one of your trailers, I'm like one of your biggest fans. I'm cheering you along. Well done with everything, and I hope that you reach that goal in the next year. I know you're going to reach that goal, and I'm looking forward to that airline. I want to be the first customer on that airline.
Okay. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks for the time.
Okay, cheers.
Bye.